You have been told your entire life that walking is good for you. Doctors say it, health articles say it, everyone says it, but here is the problem. Because it sounds so simple, so effortless, so ordinary, most people never take it seriously. They assume walking is what you do when you do not have time for real exercise. Something light, something optional, something that barely moves the needle on your health. And that assumption is costing them enormously. Because what almost nobody explains, what the mainstream health conversation consistently fails to communicate, is that walking is not weak exercise. Walking is foundational movement. And when you understand what is actually happening inside your body during a daily walk, you will never look at this simple habit the same way again. A daily walk does not just burn a few calories. It quietly and powerfully changes how your brain works. It changes how your body handles stress. It changes how sugar moves through your bloodstream. It changes how energy is produced inside your cells. It changes how your mood is regulated, how your joints age, how your heart performs, and how long you stay mentally sharp and physically independent as you get older. The science behind this is real, it is documented, and it is genuinely remarkable. And yet most people are already walking and never experiencing these benefits. Not because walking does not work, but because their body does not recognize their walking as a meaningful signal. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why that happens, exactly how to fix it, and exactly why walking done the right way may be one of the most powerful health investments you will ever make. Let us start where the evidence is most jaw-dropping. Let us start with your brain. Inside your brain is a structure called the hippocampus. You do not need to memorize the name, just understand what it does. The hippocampus is the control center for memory formation, learning, and mental sharpness. As people age, the hippocampus naturally begins to shrink. And that shrinkage is directly linked to memory decline, cognitive deterioration, and diseases like Alzheimer's. For a long time, scientists believed this decline was simply an unavoidable part of aging, that once brain tissue began to go, it was gone permanently. Then they studied walking, and what they found changed everything. In a landmark scientific study, older adults walked at a steady, moderate pace for roughly 40 minutes, 3 times per week. After just 1 year, researchers scanned their brains. The hippocampus had not just stopped shrinking, it had actually grown. Walking did not just slow brain aging. It helped rebuild brain tissue that was previously thought to be in permanent decline. This happens because walking increases blood flow to the brain and boosts the production of a critical protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain. It supports the growth of new brain cells, strengthens connections between existing cells, and dramatically improves the brain's overall function and resilience. This is why people who walk regularly notice clearer thinking, sharper memory, and improved focus. Not because they are trying harder mentally, but because their brain is genuinely, measurably healthier. If you have ever stepped outside for a walk when you felt foggy or mentally stuck and come back feeling clearer, that is not a coincidence. That is biology working exactly as it was designed to. Now let us talk about stress, because this one affects virtually everyone, and most people have no idea how deeply walking addresses it. Stress is not just an emotional experience, it is a chemical one. When you are stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. In short bursts during genuine emergencies, cortisol is helpful and necessary. But when cortisol stays elevated day after day, which is the reality for the majority of people living in the modern world, it begins causing serious cascading damage throughout the body. Poor sleep, weight gain, particularly around the abdomen, a weakened immune system, chronic inflammation, constant physical tension, and most people are living in this low-level, chronic stress state without even fully realizing it. They wake up already tense. They reach for their phone before they are even fully awake. Their breathing is shallow. Their nervous system is already on edge before the day has even begun, and it stays that way. Hour after hour, day after day, walking breaks this cycle. And here is how. A steady, rhythmic walk activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the division of your nervous system responsible for calm, repair, and recovery. The predictable, repetitive left-right motion of walking sends a signal directly to your brain that communicates something fundamental and deeply reassuring. You are safe. You are not being chased. There is no immediate threat. You can stand down. And your brain believes it, because that signal is ancient and deeply encoded. Your body chemistry begins to shift. Cortisol drops. Tension releases. Breathing deepens. The alarm that has been ringing quietly in the background begins to turn off. Walking does not erase your problems or make your stressors disappear, but it teaches your body how to turn off the fight or flight response instead of staying trapped in it indefinitely. And this effect becomes even more powerful when you walk outdoors, where natural light and the act of looking at distance rather than staring at a screen inches from your face further signal safety and calm to the nervous system. Here is one that surprises people every time. Walking makes you smarter and more creative. Researchers at Stanford University conducted experiments testing creative thinking in people who were sitting versus people who were walking. Walking increased creative output by approximately 60%. That is not a small effect. That is a dramatic, reproducible finding. Here is why it happens. When you sit for extended periods, especially under mental pressure or stress, blood circulation slows and your thinking becomes narrow and rigid. You focus intensely, but your brain struggles to make new connections, to think laterally, to access insight. Walking reverses this immediately. Each step acts as a physical pump, pushing blood back up toward the heart and brain. More blood means more oxygen, more glucose, more of everything your brain needs to perform at its best. Walking also activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network, the brain system responsible for imagination, creative insight, and the ability to connect seemingly unrelated ideas into new solutions. This is why the answer to a problem you have been staring at for hours often appears the moment you step away and go for a walk. Your brain was not stuck because you were not thinking hard enough. It was stuck because you were sitting still. Walking creates mental space, and mental space is where breakthrough thinking lives. If you have ever had a genuinely good idea while on a walk, you have experienced this firsthand. Now, here is a benefit that is absolutely critical for anyone who eats food, which is all of us. Walking stabilizes your blood sugar, and the timing of when you walk makes an enormous difference. Every time you eat a meal, sugar enters your bloodstream. Insulin is released to move that sugar into your cells where it can be used for energy. This system works beautifully when it is healthy, but over time, due to poor diet, inactivity, and chronic stress, many people develop what is called insulin resistance. The cells stop responding properly to insulin, sugar stays in the blood longer than it should, energy crashes become frequent, and the body increasingly stores that excess sugar as fat. Walking directly and powerfully addresses this. When your muscles contract during walking, they pull glucose out of your bloodstream to use as immediate fuel. And critically, this process requires very little insulin. Research shows that walking for just 10 minutes after a meal can significantly reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes, sometimes more effectively than a single longer workout performed at some other point in the day. This is important information. Blood sugar problems do not always announce themselves dramatically. They show up as that heavy, sleepy feeling after lunch, as the desperate craving for something sweet in the mid-afternoon, as the reliance on multiple cups of coffee just to feel functional. A short walk after meals teaches your body how to handle food efficiently and properly. It is one of the simplest, most accessible interventions for metabolic health that exists. Let us talk about energy, real energy, not the borrowed artificial kind that comes from caffeine and stimulants. Inside every single cell in your body are Tiny structures called mitochondria. These are your cellular energy factories. They take the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe and convert them into usable energy that powers every function in your body. When mitochondria are damaged, dysfunctional, or insufficient in number, people feel exhausted even after a full night of sleep. They feel drained even when they have done nothing particularly demanding. The problem is not how much rest they are getting. It is how much energy their cells are actually capable of producing. Walking directly addresses this at the cellular level. It stimulates the creation of new, healthy mitochondria and simultaneously helps the body identify and remove damaged, inefficient ones. And unlike intense exercise, which spikes stress hormones and can actually be counterproductive when the body is already fatigued, walking improves mitochondrial function gently and sustainably. This is why people who establish a consistent walking habit often describe experiencing a calm, steady energy that is different from anything they have felt before. Not wired, not hyped up, not dependent on external stimulation, just genuinely, quietly capable. That is the difference between borrowing energy from a stimulant and actually producing it from within your own cells. Here is one that most people never connect to walking: your digestion. Digestion is fundamentally a movement-dependent process. Your intestines rely on rhythmic muscle contractions called peristalsis to move food through your digestive system. When you sit for long periods, this process slows down significantly. Food moves sluggishly. Gas builds up, bloating occurs, discomfort sets in, constipation becomes chronic. Walking gently stimulates the entire digestive system by encouraging those natural intestinal contractions to resume their proper rhythm. This is not a new discovery. Walking after meals has been a cultural and medical recommendation across dozens of traditions and civilizations for centuries. It is not folklore. It is physiology working exactly as nature intended it to. Walking also trains your cardiovascular system in ways that are often underestimated. Many people believe that only high-intensity exercise is capable of meaningfully strengthening the heart. Large-scale population studies comparing walkers and runners have shown that when energy expenditure is matched, walking provides cardiovascular benefits comparable to running. Without the joint stress, without the cortisol spikes, and without the recovery demand, walking lowers blood pressure, it improves cholesterol balance, it strengthens circulation, and it does all of this consistently and sustainably over time. Because the single most important factor in cardiovascular health is not the intensity of your exercise, it is the consistency of your movement. Walking also improves how efficiently your body uses oxygen by training the muscles involved in breathing, particularly the diaphragm. Over weeks of regular walking, breathing becomes deeper, more controlled, and more efficient. People find themselves less short of breath climbing stairs or walking quickly. Fatigue during everyday activities decreases. The body becomes better at extracting and using oxygen from every breath, and that efficiency touches every system in the body. Your joints deserve a specific mention here because the conventional wisdom around joints and exercise is deeply misunderstood. Walking does not damage joints, it nourishes them. Movement stimulates the production of synovial fluid, the natural lubricant that keeps joint surfaces moving smoothly and reduces friction and deterioration. Sitting for long periods is actually what causes joints to stiffen, dry out, and break down over time. Regular walking keeps joints mobile, lubricated, and resilient. Walking upright also actively retrains posture, counteracting the rounded shoulders, forward head position, and compressed spine that result from hours of sitting and screen use. Better posture means less chronic back pain, better balance, reduced strain on muscles and ligaments, and significantly improved mobility as you age. Walking changes your brain chemistry in ways that directly support emotional health. It increases serotonin, the neurotransmitter most closely associated with feelings of well-being and contentment. It boosts endorphins, your body's natural mood elevators. It reduces the stress hormones that drive anxiety and emotional dysregulation. Large-scale scientific reviews have concluded that regular walking is genuinely effective at both preventing and managing anxiety and depression, not by distracting you from difficult emotions, but by changing the actual biological conditions that give rise to them. When the chemistry shifts, the emotional experience shifts with it. And then there is what may be the most underappreciated benefit of walking of all: its profound effect on how you age and how long you stay truly alive in the fullest sense of the word. Study after study shows that people who walk regularly do not just live longer, they age better. They maintain the ability to perform the everyday tasks of life without assistance. They rise from chairs with ease. They climb stairs without fear. They recover from illness faster. They fall less frequently. They remain cognitively sharp for significantly longer than their sedentary peers. Scientists have a term for this: health span. The number of years you live in genuine good health with full physical and mental function, not merely the number of years you are technically alive. Walking directly and powerfully supports health span because it keeps multiple critical systems functioning and communicating with each other simultaneously. When you walk, your brain is coordinating movement, balance, and rhythm. Your muscles are contracting and relaxing in precise sequence. Your heart is dynamically adjusting blood flow. Your joints are moving through their natural range of motion. Your nervous system is staying alert and responsive. As we age, the body does not typically fail all at once. What happens is disconnection. Individual systems begin to weaken and lose coordination with each other. Muscles deteriorate. Balance declines. Reaction time slows. Confidence drops. People begin moving less, and moving less accelerates every aspect of the decline even further. Walking interrupts this downward spiral. It preserves the leg strength that protects your hips and knees. It constantly challenges your vestibular system, your inner ear and balance mechanisms, keeping them sharp and responsive. It reinforces healthy posture and spinal alignment, and because it is weight-bearing exercise, it actively slows the bone density loss that leads to fractures and catastrophic injuries later in life. Long-term walking habits are consistently associated with lower rates of cognitive decline and dementia, not because walking is magic, but because movement keeps blood flowing, inflammation lower, and neural connections active. Walking keeps your body's systems talking to each other, and that communication is what healthy aging actually looks like. Now here's the part that most people get completely wrong, and getting this right is the difference between walking that transforms your health and walking that barely moves the needle. The benefits of walking do not primarily come from intensity. They do not come from duration. They do not come from hitting some specific number like 10,000 steps. The real driver behind every single one of these remarkable changes is consistency. Your body is in a constant state of adaptation to whatever it experiences most repeatedly. When something happens occasionally, the body treats it as noise and ignores it. When something happens regularly and predictably, the body treats it as a signal and begins to reorganize itself around that signal. Walking works because it sends a clear, repeatable, recognizable signal to every system in your body. When you walk most days, your muscles stay responsive and capable. Your insulin sensitivity improves because glucose is being regularly utilized. Your stress hormones stay lower because your nervous system is not perpetually stuck in high alert. Your joints stay lubricated and mobile because they are consistently moving through their natural range. Your brain stays engaged and sharp because movement demands ongoing coordination and spatial awareness. None of this requires perfection. You do not need to walk fast every single day. You do not need long walks every time. You do not need to feel motivated. What you need is repetition. A 15-minute walk done 5 days a week will produce dramatically more meaningful results than one intense workout followed by 6 completely sedentary days. A short walk after dinner done consistently, night after night, can reshape your metabolic health more. profoundly than sporadic bursts of ambitious exercise. Consistency is what tells your body this is who we are now. And once your body accepts movement as part of your identity, the adaptations begin stacking quietly and continuously in the background. Walking is not basic. It is foundational. It is the movement your body has been designed for across hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution. It is the signal your brain responds to most deeply. It is the habit that quietly, simultaneously supports your heart, your metabolism, your brain, your joints, your mood, and your longevity, all at the same time, every single time you do it. For the next 7 days, do not try to walk faster. Do not aim for a specific step count. Do not overthink it or overplan it. Just walk intentionally. Show up most days. Move at a steady, comfortable pace. Give your body the signal it is waiting for. And watch what begins to happen. Right now in the comments below, I want you to tell me your plan. Write it out. I am walking 10 minutes. I am walking 20 minutes. I am walking 30 minutes after dinner every night. Writing it down makes it real. It creates accountability, and it helps every person in this community stay motivated and committed together. I read every single comment, and I want to hear from you. If this video genuinely changed how you see walking, not just as exercise, but as one of the most powerful long-term health tools available to you, please hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it tells the algorithm this information is worth sharing with more people who need it. Share this video with someone in your life who keeps saying they need to be healthier but feels overwhelmed about where to start. Walking is where they start. This is where everyone starts. And if you want to keep receiving clear, science-based health information that actually makes sense and applies to real life without the hype and without the confusion, subscribe to this channel right now and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your body responds to what you repeat. Start walking today. Start now, and I will see you in the next video.